Okay, guys, well, let's get started. This is Mike Adams up here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and today I'm going to show you how to achieve financial freedom in 3 simple steps, leveraging the 5 pillars of wealth. And for many of you on the line, this webinar is truly going to be an income intervention because, as Henry Ford once said, if people understood how the economic system actually worked, there would be a revolution in a minute. So who is this webinar really for? Okay, this is for employees that are fed up with their 9-to-5 job, that are looking for the best way to start a highly profitable business part-time and then move it full-time. This is for individuals and business owners that would like to pay less in taxes to the government and interest to the big banks. And this is also for new and experienced entrepreneurs that are looking for the best real estate investing education and financial literacy services available. So here's why this webinar is different from other webinars you may have been on in the past, because you, my friend, have just entered a BS-free zone, and we do not apologize for any inconvenience. So my role today is quite simple. It's to lay out the information about our team, so who we are, what we do, and the education services that we provide, and most importantly, how we help people. How we help people start their own businesses, become full-time entrepreneurs, and really grow and scale an effective real estate investing business. So there'll be no fluff on this webinar. And my big, bold promise for you here today is I'm literally going to show you how the average household could go from living paycheck to paycheck to becoming completely debt-free and owning as many as 7 rental properties paid off free and clear inside of a decade so you can achieve financial independence for your family. And I'm going to do this. I'm excited for you here today because I'm going to do this by really pulling back the curtain on the #1 millionaire money secret. That wealthy families, they've been using this for years to create massive leverage so they can pay off all their debts quickly and then turn around and build 6-figure businesses and 7-figure real estate portfolios in record time. And this money secret is truly the key to you achieving financial freedom and having the lifestyle of your dreams. The unfortunate truth out there is that most people are just never taught anything about money. Okay, what are we taught? In school, we're taught the Pythagoras theorem and how important this triangle actually is. But what did they skip? Right? They skipped basic finance and things as important as balancing your checkbook. And it's truly this on-purpose flaw in our education system that's making the big banks, the big corporations, and the government very, very rich. All while, everyday hardworking Americans, almost 80% of folks out there are living paycheck to paycheck every single month. And more than half of Americans in this economy will actually retire completely broke. Now, as we go along here today, I'm also going to share with you the top 3 self-limiting beliefs that prevent 95% of Americans from ever getting out of their jobs or achieving financial freedom. And many of you folks on the line, you have these beliefs right now. And if you're serious about making this transition from employee to entrepreneur, you are going to have to definitely rewire. Some of the most important real estate that you're going to have to invest in is the 6 inches between your ears. So our goal on this webinar is to help you create some new beliefs so you can get ahead financially. And finally, I'm also going to share with you guys the #1 wealthy mindset shift that you need to make if you truly want to take control of your finances and navigate this rigged system. And yes, the system is rigged. Okay, let's face the facts here. Okay, what we're seeing right now is the stock market and corporate profits, they're at an all-time high. But what are you dealing with, right? Everyday Americans are dealing with rising costs. Tuitions are going up, fees are going up, cost of living's going up. And we're seeing a diminishing returns, right? You're paying all this money to go to school and get the degree, but we're not quite getting the return on that investment in that higher education. And of course, couple that with slow to no wage growth out there in this economy, it's quite easy to see why most people out there are really struggling with debt. And as a matter of fact, according to the Federal Reserve, Americans are actually over $13 trillion in debt. And that's a staggering $133,568 per household in this country. And that's just the people, let alone the government. The official debt of the United States government is over $21 trillion right now. That's $64,000 for every person and $167,000 for every household in the country. So there's a lot of debt going on. And of course, it's okay for the government to be in debt because they can go ahead as an employee and take nearly half of your income in taxes to cover their tax debt. What about you, right? What do you do about this burden that you're dealing with? Okay, what we're seeing, the bottom line is everyday Americans are literally bleeding money. In this economy, they're fighting an uphill battle against a system that favors the banks, it favors the big corporations. Bottom line is this: after this webinar, you're going to know exactly what to do to turn the tables and really tip the scales back in your favor so you can start getting ahead financially. And if you stick around with me all the way until the end, I am going to reveal the 4 vital currencies that you need to build a highly profitable real estate investing business. So you're going to want to stick around so you can take some notes on this. And definitely, for the next few minutes here, guys, really just focus. So turn off the Twitter feed, turn off the Fox News, and really zone in and focus, because some of the information we share tonight will definitely impact your business and most certainly will change your life. Hi, I'm Mike Adams. I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I'm a President's Advisory Council member for a real estate investing, education services, and financial literacy company. And I'm also an independent marketing affiliate with that company. And, behind all the titles, who am I really? I'm a married father of twins. I'm here in St. Paul, Minnesota. So my beautiful wife, Lindsay, my son, Grayson, my daughter, Melise. I'm a military veteran, so I was in the U.S. Army, and a former corporate drone. So I was in corporate sales and advertising for over 18 years. And I was a really good company man out there. And my wife and I, we thought that we were doing everything right. We went to school, we got the good grades, we got the degrees, and we got 6-figure jobs. But behind it all, my wife and I were really struggling because every nickel that was coming in the front door was going right out the back door with our mortgage, our student loans, our car loans, our credit card bills, throw some medical bills on top of that. And, every nickel that was coming in the front door was going right out the back door with all of our expenses, with very little money left over month to month. And there are so many Americans out there that are in that same position where maybe you're working a job, your spouse is working, but you're still just kind of treading water. And that's really where we were. And it wasn't until we had our big breakthrough and we got connected to this group that we learned that there was a different way that we could start living our life and dealing with our finances and really build a business that would allow us to get out of our cubicles and get into a business of our own. And ever since that day, that was just over 4 years ago, and our life now is completely changed. As a leader in this group, I get to travel the country and work with incredible people. I get to really turn on the lights with webinars like this, with trainings across the country, and really show people how they can take control of their life, take control of their finances, and build a business that truly can get them out of their jobs and leave a legacy for their family long term. So, now, you've learned a little bit about who I am. Now, here's a little bit about who I'm not. So on this webinar, I am not here as a licensed attorney, accountant, financial advisor, broker, or any licensed individual. So therefore, I'm not here to discuss or provide any specific counsel, advice, or instruction that would apply to specific individuals. This presentation is intended to be general information only. And throughout this presentation, you're going to see several examples of when money was made by applying our real estate investing education services. In no way is this a representation of a typical result. Real estate investment results depend on a variety of factors unique to each opportunity and each individual. Each real estate investment result is as unique as the real estate itself. Now, guys, there's an old saying that everything happens for a reason. And there's definitely a reason that you're watching this webinar right now. Just like, Big John out of Texas, who went from managing a Hollywood video to managing multiple deals. He struggled month to month to make ends meet. And now he was able to put his people skills to work for himself. And he's now flipped multiple houses. Or Michael out of Utah, who was broke at age 22 and on the road to wealth at age 30. He was buried in student loan debt. That student loan got him a job at Jiffy Lube, and he's gone on now to complete multiple fix and flip transactions and has earned multiple 6 figures as an independent marketing affiliate. Now, again, to make this transition from employee to entrepreneur, let's start by helping you crush the top 3 self-limiting beliefs that prevent 95% of Americans from ever getting out of their jobs or achieving financial freedom. And this first self-limiting belief, guys, this one here is not your fault, okay? Because since you were a kid, you've been getting hit with this language that if you want to be something in this world, you need to go to school, get good grades, get a degree so you can get a good job, work your way up. How many of you guys heard that? Or you heard that the only 2 things that are certain in life are death and taxes, right? That's not very positive. Or maybe you've heard this one. A penny saved is a penny earned, right? And so we've heard this language, and really what it does, this language is what we call scarcity language. And it starts to make you think that there's not opportunity, there's not money all around you when there actually is. And this language forces you, okay? It starts to make you think that there's a certain path that you need to go down to live your life if you're truly gonna be successful. And guys, what's down that path? You know, many of you guys went to school, you got the degree, you got the good grades, you got the great job. What's down that path? Well, it's 40 years of hard labor where you're working on some assembly line, working in some cubicle, or working on some big dirty machine for 40 years of your life. And you're also going to take on this 40-40-40 plan where you get in one of these human hamster wheels and then you start running. And you are literally going to be working for 40 plus hours a week. You're going to do it for 40 plus years of your life. And then at the end of the rainbow, when it's finally time to retire, you're going to struggle to retire on the 40% of your income that you're currently struggling to live on. That's the 40-40-40 plan. How many of you folks are living this plan right now? Okay, I lived this plan for 18 years. And if you're looking for financial freedom, this plan simply doesn't work. Okay, at age 65, for those working a job their entire life, you're going to fall into one of these pieces of the pie. And the biggest piece, 54% of folks are completely dependent on the government at age 65. Second biggest piece, 36% of folks are still working at age 65. Okay, so only 1% working a job their whole life actually become wealthy. So the number one self-limiting belief that we're all indoctrinated with since we're young kids is that you need to get really, really good out there at exchanging your time for money. Okay, giving your time to somebody else's business for money. We call that the employee mindset, and we've been fed this our entire lives. And the biggest problem with the employee mindset is that there is no leverage, right? You know, you are exchanging hours for dollars. And the minute you stop exchanging those hours for dollars, the dollars are going to stop coming in. You know, if you stop going to work, you're not getting paid. And my good friend Warren Buffett said that if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until the day you die. So the fatal flaw of this belief is that you only learn how to work for money, but you never learn how to have your money work for you. So what do we need to do here? Okay, we need to start creating leverage, okay? And we can't do it just exchanging hours for dollars. So how do wealthy people create massive leverage? Well, you just have to look at how the 1% became the 1%. And what we find is that 74% of them are business owners and real estate investors. So let's follow the money. So the first step to you achieving financial freedom is that you need to start a business. Okay, the wealthy mindset individuals know that building a business system is the first step to creating leverage. And everybody, of course, knows that 90% of millionaires became so through owning and controlling real estate. So we already know that real estate's a part of the equation. Now, just understand this, to make this work, you need to have the right systems and strategies in place. You can't just go out there and wing it when it comes to real estate, or certainly when it comes to business. You know, business ownership and real estate investing are two of the pillars that make up what we call the 5 pillars of wealth. And these are going to be the 5 areas where you need systems, you need training in order to really build the complete picture of financial freedom. So the 5 pillars of wealth are business, real estate, taxes, banking, and education. These are the 5 pillars of wealth. And when you learn how to leverage the 5 pillars, you can purchase or control anything that you want. That way you don't have to exchange all of your precious time for money. So that brings us to self-limiting belief number 2. And many folks out there, are still hanging on to this one, and they believe that the government, the big banks, and the corporations are actually going to do something to help you achieve financial freedom. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, so I brought in my good friend George Carlin. And George says that banks, corporations, and governments, they don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. That is against their interests. What they want is good, obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept it. Okay, that's what George says. You see, the big 3 are not going to help you. Okay, they would prefer for you to just simply keep the employee mindset and just keep your nose to the grindstone, keep your head down to the tall grass, and just get back to work. You see, there's 4 ways to really produce income in this world. And on the left side of the line, this is where you're working the 40-40-40 plan and you're exchanging time for money. On the right side of that red line, this is where you have income systems and money is actually working for you. On the left side of the line, guys, this is where there's less deductions. Being W-2 is literally the most expensive way to pay taxes. The government gets their money first, and there's very few ways that you can actually take deductions and reduce your tax liability. So you will pay a higher percentage of your earnings in taxes on the left side of the line. On the right side of the line, as an investor, as a business owner, there are more deductions available. And because of that, you can take those deductions through proper entity setup and structuring, and you'll pay a lower percentage of your total income in taxes. So you can keep more of the money that you earn. We got 95% of the population on the left side of the line as employees and self-employed, and only 5% of the wealth. On the right side of the line, this is where you only have 5% of the population, but 5% controls 95% of the money. 95% of the wealth is created on the right side of the line. So if you're here because you want financial freedom, you can't do it on the left side of the line. You got to get to the right side of the line. Bottom line, guys, is this is where the big three want to keep you, where you can just be a human resource for the big banks and for the government and for the corporations. If you want financial freedom, you need to get over to the right side of the line. So if you're here today, just understand, it's okay. If you're here right now, we just need to make this transition. So that way you can get to where you want to be and have an actual shot at achieving financial freedom. You see, most people struggle financially because they spend years in school but never learn anything about money. By learning a few simple financial strategies, you can pay off your debt quickly and save thousands of dollars in interest that would normally just go right to the big banks. And you could be paying 2/3 less in taxes through proper entity setup and structuring. Bottom line is, you simply put, you need to understand how to play the game. And think about this chessboard here. If you don't know how those pieces move, how are you supposed to win the game? See, where most folks are at today, for the average American household, when their income comes in, it usually breaks up into this pie chart here, where 1/3 of their money is going to taxes, 1/3 of their money is going to interest, and they try to live on 1/3 of the money that they actually get to keep. Again, as an entrepreneur, as a financially literate business owner, this is truly where you could be, where you're able to keep almost 80% of your money and reduce your taxes to about 10% and reduce your interest payments to about 10%. And you're able to keep 80% of the pie. So the second step to you achieving financial freedom is that you need to become financially literate and make a commitment to yourself to learn more about money, taxes, and interest. You see, wealthy mindset individuals, they just know how to play the game. They just know how to move those chess pieces into the right place so that way they can maximize their profits and maximize their return on investment. It truly takes a wealthy mindset to build a profitable business and ultimately achieve financial freedom. And that brings us to our third self-limiting belief. And many folks out there believe that you need to be rich or have great credit to start investing in real estate. And that's not necessarily true. What you do need is currency. Okay, but what is a currency? Currency, simply put, is a tool for exchange. So it's something of perceived value that you can exchange for another currency or for something else of perceived value. And most people, they only think in terms of usually one or two currencies. But the bottom line, to really make it in this business, is there are actually 4 vital currencies that you're going to need to really grow and scale an effective real estate investing business. And those 4 currencies, the first currency on the list is money. Everybody knows that money is a currency. It's a tool for exchange. The second currency on the list is time. And if you have a job right now, you're exchanging your currency of time for the company's currency of money. And they're exchanging their money for your time. So time is definitely a currency. The third currency on the list is knowledge. I think we all can agree that a doctor makes more money in this economy than someone who stocks shelves at Walmart, simply because of the knowledge that they have and the value they bring to the marketplace. And the fourth currency is relationships. And this is where most folks, they just don't know anybody else that's out there doing real estate. They don't have a network of entrepreneurs that they're around. So they think that the only relationship that they can leverage to start doing real estate is their credit score, which is their relationship with the banks and being able to qualify for lending through the banks. And so again, that's why people think that they need great credit to do real estate. So those are the 4 vital currencies. And understand this, there is a big time difference in how employee mindset individuals utilize and deal with these 4 currencies, and how wealthy mindset individuals utilize and deal with these 4 currencies. You see, for employee mindset individuals, money is the reason. Okay, money is the reason that you get out of bed. Money is the reason that you drop your kids off at daycare when you really don't want to. It's because you have to go make money because you got bills to pay. And time is the tool. So time is the tool that you're going to exchange to go get the reason. And so many folks will do this for 40 plus years of their life. You see, for wealthy mindset individuals, it's completely the opposite. See, wealthy mindset individuals know that money is simply a tool. And if they accumulate money, they can utilize it and leverage it to recapture more control of their time, which is their ultimate reason. You see, wealthy folks, they're looking for a lifestyle. They want to be able to do what they want, when they want, without somebody else telling them what to do or where they need to be. When it comes to knowledge, on the employee mindset side, knowledge is viewed as a burden. Most folks are actually on a quest to stop learning as quick as humanly possible. They just want to run across the stage and get that degree so they can go out there and start making some money and just dive right into the rat race. You see, wealthy individuals know that knowledge is a journey. And the minute that they stop taking in new knowledge, that's when they're going to start taking steps backward in their life and also in their business. And when it comes to relationships, all employee mindset relationships are competitive. So you're always trying to keep up with the Joneses. Your buddy comes in with a new iPhone. Now you want to get the new iPhone. Your coworker comes in with a new truck. Now you want to get a new truck. And so it's all very, very competitive out there. And most people are just not looking to work together, right? They'd rather compete with one another. What wealthy mindset individuals know, and what I found, is that they're so much more collaborative. They're more of an open book with their business, with their resources, the things that they're into, because they know that through partnering and through joint ventures, they can get a lot more done working together than they ever could on their own. So big time difference in how employee mindset individuals use these four currencies and how wealthy mindset individuals use these four currencies. And the bottom line is this, guys, it's okay. If you're on the left side of the chart here, you're like, Mike, I still got that employee mindset. It's okay. This webinar is all about awareness. If you're over on the left side of the line, that's okay. If you can start changing your mindset, you can start changing your life. There's an old saying that your network is your net worth. And you are the average sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you're definitely going to want to choose your friends wisely. So the third step to you achieving financial freedom is, of course, to start investing in real estate. And you want to do so by increasing all 4 of your vital currencies, not just trying to accumulate money. If you're trying to just accumulate money to go do real estate, chances are you're never going to get there. Many folks out there, you have the option to go out there and try to figure everything out on your own, right? And this is truly, trying to crack the code. And the hard way is, again, to go out there and try to do everything by yourself. And even for this simple 4-digit lock, there's 10,000 combinations to try to crack this code. And so maybe many of you folks have been on Google and you've tried to research real estate investing, and there's millions of links. Your head is spinning. You got information overload there. Or maybe you've gone to the boot camps and you've gone to these seminars and these weekend warrior workshops, and you get your books and tapes, but then you find out that you're on your own trying to figure everything out by yourself. And when you reach out for help, you end up working with script reading telemarketers. So, that's truly the hard way, to go out there and try to figure everything out by yourself. The easy way to cracking the code to the 4 currencies is to simply have somebody give you the code. And that's what we're trying to do here today. So if you are in fact looking to increase all 4 of your currencies, we do have the solution. And our solution is Renatus. And Renatus is going to be your way to wealth and prosperity. So what is Renatus? Well, Renatus is financial literacy and real estate investing education services. And it was founded by a gentleman named Bob Snyder. And what they did is they hired a PhD in education. And the secret sauce of this education service is that they actually used the instructional system design process and established full-fledged curriculum paths around real estate investing and financial literacy. They sought out and trained practitioner instructors. So you're learning from people that are actually currently utilizing the strategies that they're teaching. They created some of the best live and online classes, and they created some of the best before and after class support systems in the industry. And Renatus Education Services are really going to help you master the real estate fundamentals. So you're going to learn how to find these deals, wholesale, not retail. You're going to learn how to fund these deals, no money, no credit, no problem. You're going to learn how to fix these deals and change the value, change the profit. You're going to learn how to tenant these properties, manage these properties, and then, of course, sell these properties when the time is right through awareness, attraction, and negotiation. And these instructors are highly vetted. They are experts in their fields. And again, you are learning from the best of the best. You know, the Renatus mission statement is to empower 1 million entrepreneurs with the knowledge, tools, systems, and support needed to become financially free. So when you stack that up, compared to what's out on the marketplace of full-fledged education services, what would you expect to pay for a service like that? Here's another one of our students. Here's Nate out of Utah, and he went from being an underpaid professor to highly paid investor, and he was struggling paycheck to paycheck as a highly paid educator, and he's been able to use multiple creative strategies to acquire multiple rental properties. You see, but that's not all you're going to get with plugging into the Renatus Education Services. You are going to get access to support systems. You are going to get access to live help, coaching, workshops, and study groups. So there's all kinds of different ways that we help support our new students develop in their new business. So, there's an old saying that knowledge is power. Well, the truth is knowledge isn't power until it's applied. So these systems will help accelerate your learning curve and get you into action. Okay, because you can take any course or go through any education system that you want, but if you don't put it into action, you're not going to see any results. So our goal is to get you into action faster and easier than you trying to do everything on your own. So when you add that to the mix, okay, with weekly coaching, one-on-one help, and study groups, definitely adds a lot of value to an education service like this. And, what would you expect to pay for a full-fledged service that offers this kind of support? Here's another one of our students. This is Loretta out of Illinois, and she went from laid-off corporate drone to successful investor. She lost a 6-figure job out there in human resources and actually struggled finding similar employment. And she was sick and tired. She wasn't going to take that haircut out there in corporate America. She knew what she was worth, and her first flip generated a check that almost matched her annual salary. You see, but that's still not all you're going to get by plugging into this education service. You're also going to get access to calendar events, so community events, real deal tours, workshops, and Super Saturdays. So we do have students in all 50 states. We are expanding rapidly across the country. We're doing live meetings in 16 states nationwide. And so we have these local communities. And while we're there, guys, we have local events that are hosted by other independent marketing affiliates. And we are doing monthly workshops. We're doing weekly study groups. Okay, we're also doing daily webinars and training calls. And the beauty of all this, we're also doing property tours. So students that are doing deals, you can go out and check out some of these deals. And some of the beauties of these events is that we do simulcast them online. So again, if we don't have a local team in your particular state, it's okay, because you can plug into another team's trainings and simulcast and stream some of this stuff online. And local events are not included with the purchase of educational services. Again, these local events are hosted by independent marketing affiliates. So the great thing about it, guys, is that you'll be in business for yourself, but you won't be by yourself. Okay, you're going to be connected to our nationwide investor community. So when you add that to the mix, with the community events, the workshops, and the real deal tours, that adds a ton of value. Most people out there don't want to do everything by themselves. Most people out there don't want to go it alone and want to be able to connect with other like-minded individuals so that way they can expand their network. Here's another one of our students. Here's John out of Utah. And John, he was a struggling contractor who was sick and tired of getting paid for the job instead of getting his share of the profits. John was able to learn creative acquisition strategies and has now completed multiple fix and flips of his own. Now, you are going to get access to education service updates, complimentary lifetime access, and the Renatus iOS software. So the way Renatus bundles their education services, it all starts with the Essentials course. And we call it the Essentials course because these are the things that are essential to becoming a financially literate business owner and successful real estate investor. So inside of the Essentials, you're going to learn the foundations with Hugh Zaretsky, where he teaches the building blocks of real estate investing. From there, you're going to learn about raising private capital and learning how to invest using your retirement account. And you're going to learn all about self-directed IRAs from Matt Sorensen. You're also going to learn about the real estate red flags from Chris Albin and teaching the potential pitfalls and how to avoid them in all of your particular deals. Now, how about mitigating your risk? Okay, proper entity setup and structure. You're going to get 2 days of tax and legal with Mark Kohler. You're also going to get creative acquisition strategies, so how to acquire property without getting a loan from a bank. You're going to learn how to work with the probate courts and eviction courts and find the deal of the decade. You're also going to learn how to market yourself as a real estate investor, how to find motivated sellers and attract them towards you so you can find those home run deals. You're going to learn all about credit management from Eric Counts and how to raise your personal credit score so you can leverage that inside of your business. And also you're going to learn about velocity banking from Christian George and teaches you debt reduction strategies, how to pay off a 30-year mortgage in a fraction of the time without refinancing or changing your spending habits, and how to use those same techniques to really grow and accelerate your gains inside of your real estate investing business. So all of this powerful information is inside of your Essentials course. And truly, guys, you can have this education however it's best for you. So it's self-paced education. You can download the workbook with each class. There's a downloadable audio file. And then there's the on-demand video classroom. And again, it's on-demand, available to you online 24/7. And there's over 60 hours of education right there in the Essentials course. And again, the Essentials is truly your foundation. Okay, it's truly the foundation of you building a successful real estate investing business instead of building up your business on a house of cards. And now that you've gone through your Essentials course and you've gotten your foundation, now it's time to master the Accelerated Investor Training. And these are going to be your exit strategies that you're going to use with these properties that you acquire. So maybe you're here today because you want to learn how to be a landlord and you want to start accumulating rental properties and learn lease option strategies. You're going to learn how to structure lease options legally and profitably, because there's an entire track of classes dedicated to this particular niche inside of the Accelerated Investor Training. Same goes for short sales, and those of you who want to master short sales. Those of you guys that want to work with notes, tax deeds, and liens. Same for those of you that want to flip that house. There's an entire track dedicated to the fix and flip niche. Same for multifamily, same for commercial real estate investing. And there's also a bonus track with 11 full day classes that are really designed to really accelerate and accentuate the existing vocational tracks. Guys, inside of the Accelerated Investor Training, there's literally 46 full day classes inside of the AIT, and literally over 300 hours of classes inside of the AIT training. Now, the beauty of this education service is that any new classes or class updates that come out, you get those for free as a part of your complimentary lifetime access. So very hard to put a value on classes that update, because things change in real estate every single year. And you are going to get access as well to our proprietary Renatus iOS software that's going to help you find more leads than you can handle in your business. Now, when you add that to the mix, with the education services, the coaching, the community events, when you couple in and add lifetime access with continued updates, again, very hard to put a price tag on that, because things change in business, things change in real estate every single year. So to know that you're always going to have the most up-to-date information, very, very valuable. And also, for those that are interested, you do have the optional ability to earn and learn by taking advantage of the Renatus Epic Wealth Cycle. And there is an independent marketing affiliate offering. You see, Renatus markets through affiliates instead of advertising on billboards, TV, or the radio. And our first year affiliates average anywhere from $200 up to $8,500 per month in their first year. So this is a great additional revenue stream, and 10-step training is provided. Okay, and also no purchase of the education product is necessary or required to participate in this marketing opportunity. This is also not a W-2 job. Okay, this is a 1099 independent business owner opportunity where you can earn cash payouts by referring students to our various education services. If they enroll in the education services, you can get a cash payout. So when you add that to the mix, on top of everything else, there's actually an ability to earn and learn with the optional independent marketing affiliate offering. Very difficult to put a price tag or put a value on that, because there's no limit to the amount of people you can refer to the education. Here's one of our students and successful affiliates. Here's Mike Bonk. And after 30 years of insurance sales, they started cutting his commissions. And he's got 6 kids. He wasn't able to afford that kind of a haircut. So he got plugged in, and over the years was able to build a multi-6-figure marketing affiliate business. Now, I do expect everybody to do their own due diligence, but Renatus does carry a pristine A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and that's with over 12,000 students of our education service. And the reason that we have that A+ is because people are getting results, And as well, Renatus has now been featured on the Inc. 5000 list. So this is the top 5,000 private companies in the United States. And we've been on that list the last 2 years running. So we're very proud of that accomplishment and the credibility that it provides our company. And if all this education service did for you was help you finally start a profitable business so you can start working on your plan B to get out of your job, would it be worth it? If all this did for you was help you finally become financially literate so you could pay less in interest to the banks and less in taxes to the government, would it be worth it? If all this did for you was help you finally become a successful real estate investor so you can start building a legacy for your family, would it be worth it? And again, the way that the Renatus education services are bundled, there's a couple of different levels and a couple of different investment levels that you can choose to get started with. So you can choose to get started with the Essentials course and get your hands on those 10 powerful full-day classes. It's surely going to give you your base of foundational real estate investing along with your core financial literacy so that way you know what you need to know about money, taxes, and interest so that way you can actually build a profitable business. From there, you have the ability to add on the advanced AIT, and this is where you're going to be able to choose 2 of the AIT tracks. So you can again choose 2 of the tracks like fix and flip and buy and hold. And if you get these 2 together, we call that the advanced combo. Now, you do have the ability to get your essentials and also the Extreme Plus. The Extreme Plus gives you all 6 of the AIT tracks. It also gives you the powerful bonus track. And when you combine the Extreme Plus with the Essentials course, so we call that the AIT Extreme Plus combo, and that is literally everything that Renatus has to offer with lifetime access to all of the curriculum. You get additional one-on-one coaching with one of the instructors with the Extreme Plus combo. So that is the all-in, everything that Renatus has to offer program. And that's going to give you, again, over 360 hours of education. And also, what's really cool about the Extreme Plus combo is that the education access is actually for 2 households. So if you have a friend, a family member, or a business partner that may want to take this curriculum with you, they can get educated and the investment for the education service is still the same. And what would you expect to pay for this? When you stack everything up, when you look at the Renatus education services, the weekly group coaching, the one-on-one help, the study groups, the local events that are put on by independent marketing affiliates, the workshops, the real deal tours, lifetime access to the education service with the updates over time, very valuable, and also the optional independent marketing affiliate offering. I'm not sure what you would expect to pay for that. I had been to the gurus, so I had seen some of the big boot camp price tags, 40 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand. So that's kind of what I was expecting when I first heard about this education service. So when I finally saw the investment level for Renatus, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that I could get started with the Essentials course and get my hands on that financial literacy for under 2 grand. So $19.97 for the Essentials course. If you want to add on the Advanced AIT, you're adding on $5,997. If you wanted to add on the Extreme Plus, you're looking at $17,997. And if you wanted to go all in with the Extreme Plus AIT combo like I did, you're still under $20,000 at $19,994 for lifetime access, premium education, and also one-on-one coaching with one of our qualified practitioner instructors. Big time value there. And of course, most people out there don't like risk, so there is a 7-day right of rescission. So at any point during your 7 days, and we encourage you to get in there, again, we take our A+ rating seriously. So there is a 7-day right of rescission. We want you to get started. We want you to dive into this education and start taking classes immediately. And if you start taking a class and for some reason you don't think you're getting the value out of that class, during your first week, you can literally send an email to Renatus. They will cancel your education services and you can get your money back. So it is 100% risk-free to get started. Now, the great Ben Franklin once said that an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. And right now, I'm going to prove it to you. Because Big Ben also said that if you think education is expensive, try ignorance, because you don't know what you don't know. And remember at the beginning of this webinar when I said that I would show you how the average household could go from living paycheck to paycheck to becoming completely debt-free and owning as many as 7 rental properties paid off free and clear in a decade to achieve financial independence? Well, I'm going to deliver on that promise right now. And I'm going to do this by finally pulling back the curtain on the #1 millionaire money secret. And this money secret is actually a strategy that we call the velocity banking strategy. So what is velocity banking and what is this strategy all about? Well, velocity banking, simply put, is a more financially efficient way to use your current income. And before I go any further, all information and materials are for education purposes only. Okay, so all parties, I strongly encourage you to consult your attorney, accountant, financial professional before entering into any type of investment or banking strategy. And also understand, guys, that each individual's financial situation is unique and specific to that party. So no information provided or discussed in this presentation is given as financial advice or as a recommendation. Okay, and all numbers that I'm going to use, statistics, formulas, and scenarios presented here are for informational purposes, and it's the responsibility of the parties to verify before use. Figures and numbers have been rounded for simplicity during this presentation. Because as I go further, right, next, as we go, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a hypothetical example of how this velocity banking strategy works. And this hypothetical example is intended to be general information. This hypothetical example does not guarantee or predict a similar result in any past, present, or future real estate investment opportunities. So here's the traditional banking model that we are all taught, and the average American household makes about 60 grand a year, so they got about $5,000 per month coming into the household every single month. And once that money comes in, you start chopping up that pie, and you bring the money down to the bank, you put some of it in your checking and your savings account, and you start chopping it up. So right out the bat, you got to account for your mortgage payment, right? And this family here has a $1,200 mortgage payment, and because you have a payment, that means you also have a loan. So we have a $200,000 mortgage here, a 6% interest rate on that mortgage. We also have a car loan here. We got a $600 monthly payment on that car loan. And so we got a couple loans. We also have a line of credit. So we have this credit card over here that has a $15,000 limit, but we've racked up a little bit of credit card debt. So we got $12,000 worth of debt on that line of credit. So that's a $600 payment. And the interest rate on that credit card is about 21%. That's the average interest rate for credit cards in the country. And we got about $1,200 here to account for your lifestyle. And then that leaves about $1,400 left over that we're going to put into your savings. So either that's going to go into your 401k at your job. Maybe you got an IRA that you're putting money into, college savings account, or maybe you're just holding on to some of your money in your bank savings account just to kind of hold on to it for a rainy day. But essentially, there's your 5 grand going in, and there's your 5 grand going out. And the biggest problem here is that there is no cash flow. Every single nickel of your 5 grand is completely accounted for all of your various expenses. Okay, so we need to change this. This is where so many Americans are at right now. Before we take the next step and start actually utilizing velocity banking, let's define some of the terms that we're looking at here. Because what you got on the board here, you got a couple of loans and you have a line of credit. And you also have a couple of interest rates. Okay, you got on the loans, you got an interest rate of 6%, and on the line, you have an interest rate of 21%. So we got to make a couple of distinctions here. Okay, so what's the difference between a line and a loan? You see, a loan is a one-way lending instrument. That means it only goes one way. You make your payment on your car. Part of that payment is principal. Part of that payment is interest. You send it off to the car, but then that's it. You know, once you've sent out that principal payment, you no longer have access to that principal. It is a one-way lending instrument. You try going to the grocery store and swiping your loan for groceries. You know, even though you sent in that principal and it's there, it was sent in, you don't have access to it. So again, it's a one-way lending instrument. And also the interest rate is amortized. Okay, when it comes to your line of credit, lines of credit are really cool because they're actually revolving. So when you send in your payment to that line of credit, it reduces the balance there, but it creates available credit. So you still have access to that principal that you sent to the line of credit. Also, the interest rates on lines of credit are simple interest. Okay, and what does that mean, right? You hear simple interest, you hear amortized interest. Well, think about the difference between Fahrenheit and Celsius, right? You know, they're both, you know, measurements to measure temperature. You know, but did you know that 1 degree Celsius is actually hotter than 32 degrees Fahrenheit? Okay, so even though the number is smaller, it's actually hotter. And when you're thinking about amortized interest versus simple interest, that's how you need to think of them. You need to think of amortized as Celsius, think of simple as Fahrenheit, because that amortized interest is much, much hotter. Let's take a look at that 30-year mortgage that you got. You know, on that, out of that $1,200 payment, you know, your very first payment on that 30-year fixed mortgage at 6%, $1,000 of your payment is pure interest going right to the bank. And you're only reducing the principal by $200 on that very first payment. And you see, on your amortization table, you probably, if you have a mortgage, you probably got something that looks just like this. And, at the front end of your mortgage, right, in those first couple of years, the high percentage of your payment is pure interest going right to the banks. And the truth about mortgages is that only 1% of folks actually pay off their 30-year mortgage. And why is that? Because at usually about year 5 or 6, the bank is going to call you up and say, hey, would you like to refinance your mortgage? We'll save you $50 a month on your payment, and we're going to refinance your mortgage. And so many of you guys jump on that to save a little money monthly. But what does that do? Is that keeps you in the front end of the loan, where you're paying the highest amount of interest. As a matter of fact, inside of the first 4 years on this particular mortgage, you're going to make $57,000 in payments over the first 48 months, and you're only going to reduce the principal by $12,000. $45,000 is pure interest going right to the banks. You see, from a cash flow perspective, loans are very negative for our cash flow. Okay, with loans, again, we're making a payment and it's principal and interest, but yet we lose access to the principal. And so 100% of our cash flow with loans is immediately gone. And see, this is why we like lines of credit, because the principal is liquid. When we send money to the lines of credit, it reduces the balance and creates available credit. That's leverage in that line of credit that we can still use so we don't lose all of our cash flow. And it truly just brings us back to the employee mindset where, this is where you're working that 40-40-40 plan, and we only learn how to exchange time for money, and we only learn how to use cash as currency. You see, wealthy people think completely different. You see, wealthy mindset individuals are not interested in working the 40-40-40 plan. Okay, they know that their time is the most valuable currency. They're not interested in exchanging it for money. Wealthy mindset individuals don't use cash as currency. They know that there's a better use for cash. You see, wealthy mindset individuals use cash as velocity to reduce debt, reduce interest payments, and from there, they then use leverage as currency. And guys, this is truly the number one wealthy mindset shift that you need to make, is we need to stop using cash as currency and start using cash as velocity to reduce our debt and then use leverage as currency. So let's see how this works when we actually play this scenario out. So the first thing that a wealthy mindset individual notices when they look at this average American household scenario is that there is no cash flow. So we need to start creating cash flow, and we need to start creating leverage. And the only place in this scenario that we can create leverage is inside of that line of credit. So what a wealthy individual would do is they would take this $5,000 worth of income and they would send every nickel of it directly to that line of credit. Okay? And so let's see what this does when you play this out. So when you send all of your money to the line of credit, what that does is that eliminates the need for the credit card payment, right? You no longer have to account for that $600 credit card payment because all of your income is hitting the line of credit. So now we can take that $600 and add that number to our cash flow instead of looking at it as an expense. Also, when it comes to the savings accounts, you know what? At this point, now that we know how expensive that amortized interest is, it doesn't make sense for us to leave our money in a savings account that is not giving us a very return on our investment. It's not giving us any leverage. We're going to stop putting money there and add that money directly to our cash flow number. So just by making a couple of changes here, we've been able to increase our cash flow by $2,000 and reduce our expenses to $3,000. So now we got $5,000 coming into the household and $3,000 going out as far as expenses. And let's take a deeper look at how this plays out on this line of credit. And month one is going to come in and you're going to take your whole $5,000 worth of income and you're going to hit this line of credit, reducing the balance down to $7,000. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to pay all of your expenses utilizing that line of credit. So you got $5,000 going in and then $3,000 going out. And what we see after month one is that we see a principal reduction balance of about $2,000. So it's going to go down by our cash flow number every single month. And we're just going to rinse and repeat this strategy. And we're going to take month two, $5,000 in, $3,000 out. $5,000 in, $3,000 out for month three. And a lot of people, when they're seeing the strategy for the first time, they're like, well, wait a second, Mike, if I'm sending all my money to the line of credit, well, what happens if there's an emergency? What if the tires go out of my truck or something like that? Well, what's this? You see, again, you don't have to use cash as currency. You can use leverage as currency. You have all this available room on this line of credit. So if something goes wrong, you have room. You are covered, okay? So you can continue utilizing this velocity banking strategy where you're hitting all of your income to the line of credit, paying all of your expenses on the line of credit. We're going to pay this off in about 6 months using the velocity banking strategy. And, when you start doing this, imagine paying off your $12,000 credit card in about 6 months. The bank's going to get pretty excited about that. Chances are they're going to reach out to you and they're going to offer you an increase to your limit because they're going to want you to rack that debt back up. And, that's what they want. What we know, right, applying our wealthy mindset, is that we know that lines of credit are for assets and for emergencies. That's it. Now, the biggest emergency we have right now is this 30-year fixed mortgage with amortized interest. And what you can do with that line of credit is you can write yourself a convenience check for $12,000 and send it to your mortgage company, principal only. Okay, and then essentially taking a chunk of amortized principal from that mortgage and moving it over to your simple interest line of credit, making it much easier for us to pay off. We can start attacking it with the velocity banking strategy where we're taking all $5,000 of our income and hitting this line of credit. And it's going to go down by our cash flow number every single month. So it's going to take us about 6 months again to pay off this $12,000 balance. Now, a lot of times, many folks are like, wait a second, Mike, well, what about the interest on that line of credit, Mike? Well, if you run the numbers on this, 21% interest rate, even if you carried the full 12 for 6 months, you'd be looking at about $1,260 worth of interest on the simple interest line of credit. To get $12,000 worth of principal reduction in your mortgage, doing it the loan way, just sending in your payments every single month. Remember, it took us 48 payments, $57,000 worth of payments to get $12,000 in principal reduction, and you had to pay $45,000 worth of interest. So you tell me, what would you rather pay? Would you rather pay $1,200 worth of interest to get $12,000 worth of principal reduction in your mortgage? Or would you rather pay $45,000 in interest and have it take you 4 years? See, that's a big time savings, folks. And bottom line is you're going to rinse and repeat this process every 6 months until the loan is full. And bottom line, by doing so, the average American household will pay off their 30-year mortgage, the car loan, and other debts in about 6 years. The cool thing is that we were able to do this without increasing their income or sending in extra payments or refinancing, simply using the velocity banking strategy. And we were able to actually break the shackle of debt altogether. And so the cool thing about not having a mortgage is that you no longer have to account for a mortgage payment. So looking at our numbers here, we can go ahead and scratch that $1,200 mortgage payment and add that number to our cash flow. And of course, 6 years down the line, we've been able to eliminate that car payment as well. So we can eliminate that car loan, add that $600 to our cash flow. And now our numbers are looking pretty good. We got $5,000 coming in, $3,800 in cash flow, and only $1,200 worth of expenses, which is actually your lifestyle, which we actually kept the same. The strategy is so powerful, and it really works so well. Just like it did for Troy and Debbie in Utah, who were able to increase their cash flow by $2,100. Or for Richard and Jenny out of Hawaii, who were able to wipe out $36,000 in student loans in about 6 months using this strategy. And you see, now that we've wiped out all of this debt, for this average American household, life is actually pretty good. We don't have any debt, and many people might be content to stop right here, but we have one big problem. Okay, is that we still have a job, right? In this scenario, we're still exchanging time for money. And what we know about corporate America is that at any moment, the boss could let you go and no fault of your own. So what would the wealthy do about this situation? Well, let's go ahead and use this line of credit and also use the velocity banking strategy to start building financial independence. And again, as I go into this next step here, I'm going to be sharing a hypothetical example of how this principle works. And this hypothetical example is intended to be general information. This hypothetical example does not guarantee or predict a similar result in any past, present, or future real estate investment opportunities. So let's go ahead and leverage this line of credit and utilize our Renatus Education Services And you can go ahead and use this line of credit to write yourself a $20,000 down payment check, and you can purchase one of these. And you can get yourself a single family rental property. This property here has a market value of $120,000. And so we put down 20, so you got a mortgage left over 100 grand. And the cash flow on this property is $400. So we can take that $400 and immediately add that number to our cash flow, bringing us up to $4,200 in cash flow. So immediately, what are we going to do? We're going to start utilizing the velocity banking strategy and start hitting this line of credit with all of our income. So now we got $5,400 worth of income hitting this line of credit and only $1,200 worth of lifestyle expenses. Again, remember, you got a renter in there making a rent payment that's actually covering the mortgage on the rental house. So over the course of about 5 months, okay, as we know, based on the velocity curve, it's going to go down by our cash flow number. We're going to get about $20,000 worth of principal reduction on this rental property in about 5 months. So we already know how much interest that just saved you. But then go ahead and let's rinse and repeat this process. Let's grab another $20,000 chunk off that rental property and bring it over to the line of credit. And rinse and repeat using velocity banking. You know, bottom line, guys, if you rinse and repeat that process, you'll pay off that first rental property in about 2 years, leveraging this strategy. And the cool thing about paying out the rental property is, of course, once the mortgage is paid off, there is no longer a debt service on that property. So we can go ahead and eliminate the mortgage. And the average rents in this country are over $1,000. So now our house has a cash flow number of about $1,000 every single month. We can add that to our cash flow. And so what we see now is about $4,800 in cash flow. So we're in a really good spot here. But is one property enough for you to achieve financial independence? Well, probably not, okay? So, but what can we do now? Okay, so hypothetically speaking, what you could do is you could take this property of yours, this rental property, you could take it down to the bank, and you could say, you know what? I want to take this rental property and I want to get a home equity line of credit. And that's a very big leverageable tool that we can use to acquire more assets. And how many $20,000 checks can you write with a $120,000 home equity line of credit? Well, easy. You can write 6 of them. Okay, and you can go ahead and purchase 6 more rental properties. And let's assume the same numbers as above, with $120,000 market value, $20,000 down payment on each, $100,000 leftover mortgage, and $400 cash flow on each of these new 6 doors. 6 doors, $400, that's an additional $2,400 in cash flow every single month that we can go ahead and add to our cash flow number, which is now $7,200 per month. And what are we going to do, folks? We're going to grab that HELOC. See, now that we got the HELOC, you can take that $25,000 line of credit and put that off to the side for now, because now we're playing with this bigger HELOC. Got a $120,000 balance on there, and you're going to start utilizing the velocity banking strategy. And you're going to start hitting that line of credit with all of your income every single month. And we know as long as there's no emergencies, you're gonna reduce that balance by our cash flow number of $7,200 each and every month. Bottom line, is by utilizing this technique, you will sweep down this HELOC in about 16 months. And then from there, rinse and repeat. Bear in mind, you got renters in all these properties paying rent that's also hitting this mortgage. By rinse and repeating this process with this HELOC, you will pay off all 6 of these properties in about 3 years. Leveraging this strategy. And that's going to give you a total of 7 rental properties paid off free and clear in just over a decade. And the coolest part about this is that we did this without changing your lifestyle. You can see we kept the $1,200 the same. We haven't increased your income. We haven't had any huge windfall of cash. You know, we simply did this utilizing your income differently and utilizing the velocity banking strategy. And some of the additional benefits here, so we ended up, okay, after 10 years, with a monthly cash flow of $10,800 per month. And if you wanted to go ahead and get rid of your job, you'd be able to do that now because you have a cash flow of $5,800 per month because of the properties. And some of the additional benefits here is you have over $1 million in leverageable assets. Okay, you have incredible tax advantages for controlling real estate, and you're also building a legacy that you can pass down to your family, pass down a portfolio of properties to your family, and you're also creating a more secure cash flow retirement for yourself. You know, as with the cash accumulation model that we've all been taught, you know, if you were to get anywhere near $10,000 worth of cash flow per month, you would have to save about $3.4 million. Okay, in some type of 401k or some type of investment vehicle in order for you to be able to pull off 10 grand every single month over the 20 years you're expected to be in retirement. And my question for you is this: at your current rate of savings for your retirement, do you have enough time left to get to where you want to be financially? And guys, I know that was kind of fast, and that might have been like drinking from a fire hose, how quickly I went through that strategy. But that's why we have the education services. This is really just meant to be a hypothetical example and an overview of how the strategy works. We have a full day class all about velocity banking and how to put this strategy into your life and into your business. Now, at the beginning of this webinar, I said that everything happens for a reason. And there's definitely a reason that you're watching and you're still on this webinar right now. And I just have to ask, is your current plan working for you? And I love this quote by Tony Robbins. He says that if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. Is it time for a new plan? What you've learned about here today, this is our epic plan. We have the plan in place to help you get the education you need, leveraging the Renatus Education Services. We have the plan in place to help you start acquiring properties. We have the income system in place for those that want to take us up on that. And we also have the community. So you'll be in business for yourself, but never by yourself. And for those of you guys interested in increasing all 4 of your currencies, there's your money, there's your time, there's your knowledge, there's your relationships. Our education service and team approach will help you increase all 4 of your currencies. My question for you: are you willing to follow a simple system and take massive action? So again, when you stack everything up with what you're going to get with this, you're going to get the full-fledged Renatus Education Services. So again, an ISD-based curriculum around business development, real estate investing, and financial literacy. You're going to get access to the weekly group coaching, the one-on-one help, the study groups, the local community events put on by independent marketing affiliates across the country, workshops, real deal tours, complimentary lifetime access to the education with updates, and also the optional independent marketing affiliate offering. And again, for those looking to get started with the education services, out the door here today, you're looking at $19.97 for the Essentials course. If you want to add on the Advanced, you're looking at $5,997. If you want to add on the Extreme Plus, you're looking at $17,997. And for those looking to go all in with an Extreme Plus combo, that is $19,994. And my second question for you is, how many people do you know that would benefit from seeing this information, especially learning a little bit about the velocity banking strategy and the #1 millionaire money secret? Again, you do have the optional ability to take us up on the independent marketing affiliate offering. And again, for those of you that are interested there, you're only looking at a $125 application fee. And the great news is that the reason that we're hosting this webinar here today is because we are looking for our next success story. Hey guys, it's Mike Adams up here in Minnesota. So it appears you've seen our company introduction meeting, and the question now is, did you find value in that training? I know the first time that I seen it, I had so many epiphanies, but here it is. The bottom line is this: we put a lot of time and effort into working with our teams and training them and really showing them step by step how to do this business, whether it's on the real estate side or the marketing side or both. So what we want to do at this point is, it's time to talk. After everything you've seen, it's time to set up a time to talk. I'd love to connect with you and really just iron out any leftover details and see if our team is the right fit to help you hit your business and real estate goals. So go ahead and click the button and schedule a time to talk with someone from our team right away.